What is going on, fellas? We are back. We can stop jabbering. We can stop yapping. We can stop talking about stuff that we think will happen. We get to actually see a real football game that is not a preseason football game tonight. And I am absolutely fired up about it. Danny, what are you feeling tonight? We got a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of housekeeping stuff that we got to get out of the way, and then we'll get into some questions. But just general thoughts on actually seeing ball tonight.
I'm just excited, man. I'm ready for the fireworks show that's going to come in town. I mean, I'm already inevitably prepared for the fact that Derrick Henry's probably going to rush 24 times, 102 yards, punch in a touchdown or two. And there's going to be on our videos of us calling him a bust, people saying like, what happened now? Like, I remember the most similar circumstance of that was actually a few years ago when David Johnson had like an insane week one and did like nothing the rest of the season, but everybody held it against us that David Johnson went off in week one.
Yeah, I mean, I think he had actually a half decent season that year. But okay, couple housekeeping things. Of course, Underdog Fantasy has some live promos right now. We do need to shout those out. Free pick, Travis Kelce. If you guys are on Underdog, you can get access to this free pick, whether you are a new user, a returning user, and of course, use code FSE if you are signing up. We have been plugging this all off season long. We are doing a giveaway to send one of you guys to your favorite team's game with 2 tickets worth up to $500 in value. We do actually have the winner selected for that. SS32BA won't expose your entire email address, but we will be sending you out an email after the stream is over. Just make sure if you guys used our Underdog code, you check your email. And if you are actually in the stream, obviously, let us know in the chat. He used our Underdog code this year, so he should be an avid follower, and we did roll some provisionals if he never gets back to us as well. So you do potentially still have a chance of winning if he never gets back to us, but congrats to SS32BA for winning that giveaway. And also, again, new users on Underdog Fantasy can get up to 1,000 in bonus cash and that Travis Kelce pick'em. I put out a pick'em on my TikTok today. Zay Flowers higher than 52.5 receiving yards. I mean, these guys played in the AFC Championship, and Zay Flowers went over 100 in that game. Derrick Henry to score a rushing or receiving touchdown with some vulture protection, which is a new thing that Underdog has in store. If Lamar Jackson snipes him on the goal line, then that entry actually will pay back, and I'll get credit for that. And then lower Isaiah Pacheco, 77.5 rushing and receiving yards. Ravens defense was top 5 unit against the run last year, and I feel like Pacheco could be in store for a bit of a slugfest, not a super high scoring game. This is one of the only games on the slate too that the under is actually being bet by the Sharps right now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. The under is being steamed right now. Just give me a moment to, I'll upload the slip I actually posted on the channel. If you guys were watching the shorts channel a little bit ago, about a few hours ago, I did post a short over my picks for this upcoming slate. So let me just quickly open that up for you.
I'll plug the week one promo calendar while you're pulling that up here. So as you guys can see, the KELCE free pick is live all week. Today is Thursday. There's a 30% profit booster. You cannot actually use the KELCE free pick and the 30% deposit booster or profit booster, but that is definitely something they got going on right now. And then there's a mystery promo tomorrow. We don't know what that's going to be yet. Discount the dogs. I believe it's something to do with the college football slate there. I think the underdogs are discounted or something like that.
Let's go.
And then the Dak free pick is going to be for Sunday, week one. And I also believe that will be for all new and returning users too. I don't think that's just for new users.
Speaking of college football underdogs this week, you know what one of the bigger underdogs in terms of versus expectation would be,
I bet Michigan and Texas, I'm guessing.
I mean, that's going to be a banger. Obviously, I believe it's one of, if not the only top 10 matchup this week. It's going to be exciting, man. We are seeing some heavy action on the Texas line. We did see that bump up, I believe, from like -4.5, -5, upwards to like -7, -7.5. So a lot of early action. I think it's going to be caused by the fact that obviously Michigan didn't have the strongest offensive performance in their past game against Fresno State. Texas looking like a good ironed up club. But regardless, it's in Ann Arbor. It's a defensive slugfest. Again, it's going to be real fascinating to see the battle between Sarkisian versus Wink.
Yeah, it's going to be a sweet game. So like I said, definitely check out Underdog. Link is down below in the description. And our weekly rankings, of course, are live right now. We will be doing, Danny's going to do the wide receiver tier list tomorrow. I'm going to do the running back tier list on Saturday. And our weekly rankings manifesto has all the information that you guys can need to set your fantasy football lineups all season long, from Vegas stuff over-unders, implied point total, sharp money, stuff like that. The quarterback, running back, wide receivers, and tight ends with good matchups, the ones with bad matchups, and of course our weekly rankings, which we update pretty much daily throughout the season. And you can get access to that by signing up on Underdog and also on flockfantasy.com. And the last piece of housekeeping that I do have to share with you guys
There's also one more thing I want to add with my slip.
Yes, how sexy the new redesign for the site looks.
Oh, yeah.
That we are going to be unveiling to you guys very, very soon. It is live for us creators right now, but it will not be live, I believe, until Saturday, I want to say. Don't quote me on that, but I think it is Saturday. But like, this looks so much better than it did before.
This is the aesthetic revamp that we've needed on the site. A lot of you guys were commenting about the aesthetic. I mean, this is exactly what it needed, to be honest. It looks so much cleaner.
Yeah, and you guys also do have the ability to ask us start-sit questions and trade questions, and of course get your teams reviewed with our a la carte services too, and those will be linked directly. We have a direct link to those in the description of this video and all of our videos. So housekeeping is done. We can now answer
one more
questions.
thing.
Actually, sorry, one more piece of housekeeping.
One more thing. Corey did mention his slip over on TikTok. Again, if you guys hadn't already seen the short that I posted today, did make it my own slip in terms of Rashee Rice higher than 61.5 receiving yards. Very boom matchup. He's crossed the 6 of his last 10 games since he saw that roll bump at the end of the season for the Kansas City Chiefs. Looking at this situation, no Hollywood, high implied team total at home. I do think Rashee Rice pays off and hits the higher on 61.5. Justice Hill, I mean, you mentioned Derrick Henry potentially punching one in. I think this is going to be the Derrick Henry show. I think we're going to see upwards of 22, 23, 24 overall attempts out of the backfield. And with that being the case, while Justice Hill should have a role in terms of third down receiving situations, I do trust Derrick Henry to take the load of the in-between the tackles type of work. And of course, you pair that with the 0.5 total yards gimme pick for Travis KELCE. You have yourself a nice little 6x payout there, turning 10 into 60.
Yeah, and of course, like Danny mentioned, you can use the 6x payout, or sorry, the 6x payout, the Travis KELCE free square there. So we shall get into some real questions now. We do have a couple supers on deck here. Christian coming in hot with a 499. Rate my team, third pick, 12 team PPR in order. Lamb, White, Cook, McBride, Ayuk, Murray, Dell. Also picked up Ladd, Brooks, Dowdle, Wicks, and Polk. Yeah, I mean, for the third pick, being able to walk away with the team that you walked away with is definitely really strong. I mean, Rachaad White, James Cook, I'm assuming you got those guys like 4 or 5 turn by the looks of it after getting Lamb, Ayuk, and maybe Dell or McBride. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe you took Cook at the third pick there in the third round. But I like what you did with this team. I would say probably like 8 out of 10 type of squad. I like the Murray and McBride stack as well.
Yeah, I might have personally pushed running back a little bit more. Like, for example, where you took Rachaad White, would have went with Mike Hero with James Cook.
Maybe 503 Rachaad White, though. I don't think that's terrible.
I mean, it's not bad.
At 410 or whatever, and then he took Rachaad White at the 503.
Yeah, which isn't bad. Again, personally, I would still prefer like Mixon and Walker to Rachaad White. But again, overall, that's a micro difference. In terms of structure, I think you structured the team well. You got your advantage at tight end. You got your stack there with Kyler Murray. You're very strong at wide receiver regardless. So even though, the thing for me is just Rachaad White, I do think it's a very limited range of outcome for me.
Yeah, for sure. And for those of you guys that are new to our streams, by the way, we go in chronological order to when the question was asked. And then, of course, Super Chats will skip the line. So after we're done the Super Chats, we'll go right up to the top. So if you want to make sure your question gets answered for free without having to Super Chat or anything, make sure to get those noties on so you get into the stream very quickly so you can ask your question right away. So
is this
Eric says...
Sorry, I have a question for you. Did you set this as subscribers chat, correct?
Let me actually make sure I do, but you can read this off and I will make sure I have that set.
I'm Jack to follow football with y'all this season. You aren't starting JSN over Higgins or DJ Moore. Are you half PPR? Appreciate that. Happy to have you aboard as well in terms of JSN over Higgins or DJ Moore. A little steep for me. Again, I like JSN as, a wide receiver 3, mid-30s type of wide receiver in my rankings this week. But I just prefer, assuming Higgins and Moore are ready to go. Moore does sound like he's ready to go. Higgins apparently left, I believe, limited in practice today. So we'll track that information. If Higgins obviously doesn't play, you put JSN in. But assuming Higgins is fully ready to go, he's in my lineup.
Yeah, a lot of people seem to be worried about Jamar Chase too with T. Higgins, and they're like, oh, if Chase doesn't play, is like T. Higgins a better option this week? I mean, it's not a very good game environment for the Patriots and the Bengals game. It's like the worst. It's the lowest over under slate on the week. I mean, the Bengals are implied for a decent point total because they're favored by a shit ton. But at the same time, I'm not overly excited about that game. But at the same time, Higgins is definitely the better play over JSN, especially until I know kind of JSN's role and if he's ready to take that next step in terms of route participation. There's no reason to force that in week 1. We'll get that information in the next coming weeks.
Agreed. Where do we leave off here? 12 team, half PPR start, 1 running back. Blake Corum against the Lions, J.K. Dobbins against the Vegas Raiders, Zach Charbonnet against Denver, Audric Estime against the Seahawks. And then also he wants to start 2 wide receivers, Debo, Neighbors, Higgins, or Xavier Worthy. So in terms of the running back question, I think the clear top 2 here, again, you're obviously going to do the running back video, but for me would actually be Corum and Dobbins. I'm assuming you would probably prefer Dobbins here.
Yeah, so I guess you have to start 1 running back, he said.
You want the touchdown equity of both of those situations. So
I said in the matchups that matter video today that I don't want to have to start a Chargers running back if I don't have to, but I actually do think that Dobbins is probably the best option of this group because it appears that he's going to be an integral part of the backfield, and I think that Chargers Raiders game actually has some steam on the over, and I don't expect the passing games to be overly productive, and I think the way that both offenses are going to try and move the balls on the ground.
I would agree. It's just for me, the overall carry workload he could see. Obviously, J.K. Dobbins, I would say, is a more volatile option. If you're just want an RB2 that has a chance to potentially score a touchdown, I don't mind with going with Corum. But if you want to shoot for some upside at that RB2 slot, J.K. Dobbins has an easier path to an 18 to 20 touch workload versus Corum. While he may have an efficient 12 to 14 touches, hard to see him having more than Kyron straight up.
Yeah. Again, I think the touch count will be pretty similar, only that I think the Dobbins ceiling touch count is definitely higher. And then Debo and Neighbors are pretty easily the answer for this.
I would agree. Question. I would agree. I know it is very tempting seeing Worthy there, half PPR, big plays, but for me personally, the Debo and Neighbors projections are just such a lock, man. Honestly,
the first game of the year, it is so tempting to just be like, I need to watch somebody.
I did it with Sky Moore last year, bro. I did it with Sky Moore.
I've done it. I'm I can claim good process all the time, but I'm just like you guys. I want to watch a player in the first game of the year. So if you absolutely wanted to sit Neighbors this week for Xavier Worthy because you're I just want to watch a player, I wouldn't do it, but you definitely.
We wouldn't advise you, but we wouldn't hate you. We wouldn't advise you, but we wouldn't hate you.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, Bear says, hope everyone is blessed. Let's smash that like button. Yes, appreciate that. Corey's been a member for 29 months. Also, shout out. He says, Danny inbox. So I'm guessing he sent you something in the DMs.
Sent me a trade. Interesting.
Dan Fuller says, rate my team, guys. So it's right here. 12 team, full PPR, 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex. Josh Allen, Jahmyr Gibbs, Javonte Williams, Nico Collins, Garrett Wilson, Dalton Kincaid, George Pickens. This is a really well-built team, dude. You got an elite tight end, an elite quarterback, and you're very strong at every position. Your weakest position is Javonte Williams, Chase Brown, Blake Corum, RB2. Obviously, you ran a nice hero RB here. I think you did a really good job. This is a 9 out of 10 team.
Quick shout out, by the way. So Corey actually shared his slip, so we may as well share his picks over on Underdog. Did submit this to me. I mean, we can kind of evaluate it together. So he does slip here. Obviously, the Travis Kelce give me there at the 0.5 total yards. Does like Isaiah Pacheco to score a rushing or a receiving touchdown. Xavier Worthy as well. Really, Corey's just thinking this game.
You're thinking the over is crushing in this game.
Yeah, amen. I mean, you're hoping this is like a 35-28, 38-35 type of deal. So I respect the cojones for that. I appreciate that, Corey.
Yeah, one of the things that I nearly did was Justin Tucker higher than 6.5 kicking points because I don't know about you, but I find the first game of the year to be relatively a slugfest,
very sluggish.
And I think kickers are generally good pick'ems to throw in.
I got Brandon Aubrey in the Cowboys Cleveland game, and I mean, actually, speaking of that game, I'm not sure if you ended up watching the first episode of the Coach series with Bill Belichick.
I did not yet. No, I haven't watched it yet.
They actually broke down basically the origin of the West Coast, where it came from. Obviously, Paul Brown, moving on to Bill Walsh, kind of all the trees that it came from with Bill Walsh. And one of them they talked about, one of the old school West Coast offenses still living in the NFL was actually the Dallas Cowboys. Funny enough, obviously, Jim Schwartz coming from the Bill Belichick tree over in New England. He's basically talking about Bill Belichick's frame of mind, what Jim Schwartz could do to stop the West Coast offense, kind of what the answers are on both sides. So he just dissected the full matchup, Cleveland versus Dallas. Really eye-opening. Obviously, again, I'm a Cowboys fan, so I was going to tune in anyways. But just hearing for example, like, oh, this is this concept beater, or are you going to play the man, or are you going to play the coverage? Like, just seeing him explain like the matchup within the matchup, honestly, I can't recommend it enough. So basically going through that game, but just talking about the West Coast and overall the answers there. So I repeated myself. It was exciting. If you guys want to watch all of that, you can watch it over at Coach. But
yeah, what Danny's referring to is the Coach, is the new series that Underdog is running with Bill Belichick, where he breaks down like coaching stuff, I'm assuming. And I haven't watched it yet, but it's definitely something I'm going to tune into, especially if there's anything like Tom Brady or Buccaneers related to do with it. And speaking of, I mean, Brady's calling that game too. He's in the booth for that Cowboys and Browns game.
It's going to be epic. I mean, I will say, as a Cowboys fan, it did make me smile a little bit seeing how glowingly Mr. Bill Belichick was talking about my boy Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, I mean, Lamb, I'm sure everyone knows is good, but Dak is obviously a contentious topic. Full PPR, Ford or Moss, leaning Ford. Yeah, I would definitely go with Ford. Moss, a Bengals running back, I don't want to have to start one if I don't have to. I want to see what the split looks like first, and I think Ford is going to have.
I have Chase Brown.
A high-paced game. It's the fastest-paced game of the entire slate. So
I still have Chase Brown pretty aggressively ranked. So like,
I do not. I'm really, tempering my expectations for the Bengals backfield because it's not a good game environment. I have no idea what the split is going to look like because we didn't really see any evidence of it in the preseason. So I would start Chase Brown of the two of them, but I think I would definitely trust Jerome Ford's workload over the rest of these guys.
I would agree, especially against Moss specifically. If that was Brown, I actually would go with Brown, but specifically with Moss, I do agree. With Jerome Ford, it's kind of obviously a gross game environment. I believe the Cowboys versus Browns is the second lowest implied total in the week in terms of his over-under. I believe it's at 41 right now, which is only ahead of the New England versus Cincinnati game. So you're getting two bad game environments, but at least taking the guy with the touches, Jerome Ford's going to get versus Zach Moss, potentially getting half of the touches is the route you want to go, right? So
yeah, the over is getting a lot of steam in that game too. The Browns Cowboys game, because it's like two of the fastest paced offenses in the NFL. And he said Tank or Pickens as well. I want any and all.
They are very close to my game
and Colts game, so I'm taking Tank Dell there for.
I technically have Pickens a little bit higher, but if you want to trust the game environment of Dell, again, I have, for the record, I mean, it's a
triple threat. I talk about in matchups that matter. You get a fast paced, high scoring game with the sharps on the over. That is a triple threat, and I want pieces of that game.
Yeah, so currently, I'm going to give you guys a little sneak peek into tomorrow's video where I break down my overall wide receiver rankings. I believe about 40-ish deep, but three of the rankings I have on there in terms of the Texans receivers, Nico Collins is my wide receiver 8 this week. And then in terms of Dell versus Stephon Diggs, I think you can pretty much interchange how you would have them ranked. I did lean on the experience of Stephon Diggs in week 1 specifically. So I have Diggs at 25, Dell at 28. But if you told me that those two were flipped, I wouldn't have no problem with that.
Yeah, I mean, I have Dell over Diggs. Like, I guess, Diggs is more experienced, but like Dell's the one with the reps.
I agree. For the record, I would take Dell across the full season. I just think week 1 underneath threat and given the game environment, like I understand it, but I mean, it could go both ways. They're 20.
Yeah, they're both like top 30 receivers for me though. Like
quite easily.
I think they're both really good options.
Start CJ Stroud.
Pickens is expected to see shadow coverage from AJ Terrell as well, which is another additional part of that. And Dan, appreciate the second super chat.
But appreciate that.
I'm guessing you want me to rate this team as well. I think that's why he did this again. So
14 full PPR, 1 quarterback, 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and a flex. So shorter starting lineup, but a 14 teamer. So we'll keep that in mind. Love, Pacheco, Monty, AJ Brown, DK Metcalf, Engram, Waddle, Dobbins, Kamani Vidal, Rico Dowdle, Roma Dunze, Jalen Wright, Romeo Doubs, DeMarcus Robinson, Hollywood Brown in his IR. I mean, the lineup looks good to me. I'm assuming Dobbins is your first guy off the bench, knowing it's a 2 wide receiver.
Yeah, Waddle is his flex by the looks of it.
Yeah, I think he did a good job overall in terms of the
for a 14 teamer. I think you got like Montgomery is like your weakest position, like which is pretty good for a 14 teamer, especially going with like kind of like a hero build. So I think this is another 9 out of 10 team. Honestly, like your first one was a little better, but it was also not a 14 teamer, so definitely makes sense.
For sure.
Javon says Purdy, Devontae, Olave, Hall, Rashad, Kittle, Devontae Adams, and Devontae Smith, I'm assuming, are both of these guys. Aaron Jones, JSN, Goddard, rate team. So you're weak at the onesies. Yeah, for sure. But I feel pretty good about the rest of the roster.
He's got the Purdy Kittle stack too.
Yeah, Adams, Olave, Smitty, and JSN and those guys. That's a pretty strong wide receiver core. Hall, Rashad, Aaron Jones, pretty strong there. I guess you do have Kittle. Sorry, I missed Kittle there, but you probably don't need to roster Goddard knowing that you have Kittle there.
Agreed. Overall, though, I agree with Bush there. I have Wilson Olave as my starting wide receivers. Who do I play as my third? Rashee Rice or Amari Cooper? I'm firing
I have
Rashee Rice
Cooper
all day, every
slightly
day.
higher than Rice this week.
Oh, we're making that bet right now. I have Rashee Rice as a top 20 receiver, bro.
Oh, dude, I ain't fucking with the Ravens secondary if I don't have to.
25 implied points at home, man. You got to bite it.
I told you, man. This is a narrative take, but like I am worried about starting players in the first game of the year. Like it's always like a 17-10 game.
And that's okay. You can A, miss out on their points, and also B, lose this bet straight up to me because it's Rashee Rice all day, baby.
Okay, yeah, we can roll. We can roll with Rashee Rice. I have Cooper 2 spots higher, so it's not an outrageous.
I have Rice at 18, and I have Cooper at 30.
Okay, well, I have Cooper at 21 and Rice at 23. So
okay. So you're higher on Cooper. The thing with me that I come back to with Cooper is that we have some question marks under center. We have some question marks in the game environment, and
I don't have question marks.
See a lot of Trayvon Diggs.
The Sharps are hammering the over, and it's a fast-paced game.
It's still a 41 over under.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I mean, like, it's tough. It's tough. I do think he's going to see a lot of Trayvon Diggs too, despite the narrative that.
Yeah, I mean, he's coming off a blown knee for the first game back. I honestly just think that the Cleveland Browns are going to be very fast-paced and pass-heavy this year. Like, I think it's not something we know yet because we haven't seen it yet, but I believe we're going to start to see it over the first couple of weeks of the season. And Cooper has a chance to be a guy that's like a perfect like week 3, week 4 sell high for like any receiver in fantasy because he gets off to a really good start.
Was that a full PPR or a?
We could do it in full
PPR.
He didn't. Sent an Army didn't specify, but we can do it in full. Boogie says, pick one, please. Half PPR, Worthy, Rome, Aaron Jones, Brian Thomas Jr. I mean, this is one of those cases where I just want to watch
Worthy or B-Tom. Yeah, like, for the record, I have B-Tom 1 spot ranked higher than Worthy, but also because
I have Worthy higher than B-Tom anyway. So this is one of those, like, it's the first game of the year, just throw Worthy into your lineup because these guys are all pretty close. I think Aaron Jones is actually probably the best play here, but I would probably go Worthy just because I want to watch it.
I like B-Tom. Honestly.
I like B-Tom this week, too.
Playing in 2 wide receiver sets,
also
great game environment.
For what it's worth, the Dolphins and the Jaguars game.
Yeah, like for me, actually, like my answer would be B-Tom unless you're desperate to watch someone tonight, because if you are, I wouldn't blame you for starting Worthy.
Apparently the game is delayed.
Oh, yeah, apparently there's bad weather, actually. I heard that.
Yeah, dude, it's a 17-10 slugfest. Maybe don't start Xavier Worthy.
You don't want to take back your Rashee Rice bet now? He's going to catch catch like 10 6-yard passes.
Yeah. Brandon says, happy opening night, boys. Trade away Jalen Warren and Devontae Smith to get Jamar Chase in a heartbeat. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Get Jalen Warren and Devontae Smith off of your team. That is an absolute smash.
And to think there's people that really commented on our Do This Now video saying that 2v1s aren't possible.
Yeah, no, literally. People were like, there's no way you could ever trade. What did I suggest in that video?
It was some bullshit. It was like Chase Brown and JSN for like I think
James Cook or Isaiah Pacheco or Kenneth Walker or whatever is what I said. And someone was like, there's no way anybody would ever do that. I was like, well, people are getting Jamar Chase for Devontae Smith and Jalen Warren here. So it looks to be possible to do 2-for-1 tier ups here.
Real quick, now that I got to ask you, knowing that there's potentially weather in this game. Oh, I don't have actually any other. I mean, never mind, because fucking Xavier Worthy is in my lineup over anybody here.
Of course, I have Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce going tonight in our flock league.
Oh my god, I have Rashee Rice tonight. Yeah, right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, Matt says
Zach has fucking Henry.
Yeah, 10-team PPR. That's going to be like 3 touchdowns in a weather game.
Oh god,
10-team PPR. Quarterback Anthony Richardson, running back Breece Hall, Rashad White, Chase Brown. I'm assuming that is Puka, Debo, Tank, Ridley, Thomas, Wicks. Any advice? I mean, you're strong. I mean, you're risky for sure at quarterback and tight end with Richardson and with Pitts, but I feel like both of those guys have good projections. Your running back core is pretty solid. You got 2 guys that are going to get good work, and one of them with legendary upside. And your wide receiver core is pretty loaded as well. So you don't really have any weaknesses. I mean, it's a 10-team league, but this is a very strongly built roster.
For sure.
Yadiel, welcome back.
Shout out.
Made this trade. I had Tua, Higgins, Charbonnet, received Love and London. How are we feeling? My wide receivers are St. Brown, Collins, 2 wide receiver, and flex running backs, Achane and Cook. Yeah, giving up Tua for Love. That's a slight upgrade.
2 wide receiver, Charbonnet. 1 flex league.
Yeah, I mean, London is maybe is probably worth this package.
How often is
Charbonnet
entering your lineup? In a 2 wide receiver,
unless Walker is down.
Yeah,
Walker getting injured is the only way Charbonnet ever sees your lineup.
Okay, even if you told me it was Charbonnet without a Walker on the field, like I would think, okay, that's about even value. You trade away T. Higgins, a wide receiver 2-3, you potentially get a wide receiver 1 there with Drake London. But the fact that that's even just the implied value of Charbonnet, not even the actualized value quite yet, you're fleecing. I love it. And
Also,
the
Love
quarterback
is better
upgrade.
than Tua.
Yeah. Yeah. Love that for you.
Yeah,
No pun intended.
absolutely. Had work draft yesterday using your strategy from your videos. Wanted to say thanks. Appreciate the support and glad we were able to help. 2-spot, 10-team PPR, CD, Pacheco, Marvin Harrison, Waddle, Devontae Smith, Neighbors. Wow, dude. It's Kyler. Yeah, this is a absolutely loaded roster.
Cheers on the
Great
chip.
job.
Cheers on the chip.
Yeah.
10-team PPR,
Carlos
Richard, sorry, 10-team PPR, Richardson, HM, Monty, Lamb, Marvin, Ayuk, Waddle, Pitts. Another broken team. Is this the same team? It looks like it. They have like the same players.
A lot of Marvin and Richardson.
Corum, JK, Worthy. Yeah, geez. I mean, both.
I mean, if they're using our rankings manifesto, there's a good chance they're going to end up with guys like I feel like literally every single question we've gotten is a team with Chase Brown on it, and that's because he's ranked like 30 spots higher than a sleeper ADP in our manifesto.
We love our Chase. We love it.
Sawyer gave us a 199 super chat. I might need you to go dive in for his question.
I got it. 12. I appreciate that double super chat. He says 12-team PPR auction. Quarterback Caleb, running back HN, Singletary, Brooks, Chase Brown as well, and Tajay Spears. I like how you balance like the security of the touches with the overall upside of this room. You have HN, Singletary as an RB2. Again, he's not the sexiest option, but he should have some early touches. And then you do have the upside there of Brooks, Brown, Spears to level out your running back core. Like how you structure that. Wide receiver, you say Garrett Wilson, Puka Nacua, Malik Neighbors, DK Metcalf. Greatly structured core there. And then you have this team's phenomenal for an auction team.
Pitts is like a perfect auction draft tight end because nobody likes Pitts. So you're going to get a good value on him in an auction draft.
100%. Him and Njoku.
I think it was Jay Dollar Signs we skipped over there.
Oh, my fault.
12-team PPR, 1 flex picked at 10. Team is Hurts, Kyron, Ford, Wilson, Waddle, Njoku, Dell, Pickens there. I mean, so your running back 2 is obviously like a weakness right now because you have Jerome Ford as your main starter, Zach Moss, Corum, Jordan Mason, those type of guys. But I feel like you can piece together RB2 production. Like I wouldn't be totally shocked, man, if like Jerome Ford's just as good as he was last year and you have like a consistent 12 to 14 point per game scorer. And the rest of your team's loaded.
Especially for early work until Chubb gets back. I definitely rose a little bit on Ford for sure compared to where I was at.
Yeah, I definitely rose on him as the process went along because they've been really bullish on him too. And one guy, I know this is like disgusting, but one guy I low-key got a little bit excited about after seeing like some of his advanced metrics and stuff is Rashad Bateman good?
Dude, he might be. I mean, you remember when I had a reaction when we were at the doing the vlog, and you're like, "What the fuck are you having a reaction?" Because like he hasn't been too bad. The other one, I'll tell you right now, the gross one that I've like completely really turned around on was Brian Robinson. Because it's like,
I was always in on Robinson. He's like one of my highest rostered, like 8th to 10th round underdog running backs.
He was always a guy that I was like, you know what? Like I'm cool with him. Like if he's like a 9th, 10th rounder, but like as the summer came along, I'm like, dude, like he's actually looked good at the preseason. I don't believe in Austin Eckler in terms of being able to stay the season fully healthy as an older running back who shows some declines at the fit.
Better be careful what you say about Austin Eckler because
I fucking love him. I love him.
Followed our FSE account on Twitter yesterday, so that was pretty cool. But
big shout out.
Be careful what we say about Austin Eckler.
No. It's no disrespect. It's just knowing that a 23-year-old running back that shows efficiency is a guy that we want to be targeting in fantasy. And like all due respect, I mean, fucking one of the best primes in our generation, right? So.
Yeah, I mean, the 2022 fantasy RB1 overall followed us on Twitter. That's pretty cool.
That was sick. Also, shout out Snood because I believe he's actually the one who put us in touch. He also super chatted here, just supporting. Happy game day. Keep up the work, gents. Yeah, appreciate that, brother. But I believe actually in the because he did DM
he mentioned us, that Snoog. He mentioned was in contact with him. Yeah.
Big shout out there. Big shout out. Yeah.
Yep. R says 12-team PPR. What you think? QB Tua. Wide receiver Tyreek, Marvin Harrison. I mean, that's a pretty good start. I don't know how the hell you ended up with both of those guys. Jacobs, Javonte Williams at running back, Trey Max Bride, Flex Debo. So it's a good looking squad, man. You got a weakness, obviously, with Javonte Williams, but I talked about him in my breakouts video because I think he can absolutely be in like a top 15 running back this year if things break right for him.
For sure. Did we get the one here from Infuse? Oh, that's the
next one. Yeah, this is the next one here. 12th pick this year, Hurts, Gibbs, Javonte probably, Maserati
The same
Marv.
players on every team, I swear.
Every
I
single
love
team
it.
has Javonte, Maserati Marv, and a lot of these guys here. Andrew's meant to take
You're
McBride. I
cooking.
mean, I don't think that's a big deal. I heard Karain and like the ADP chasing guys were like, "Is McBride even good?" Like they're like, "Is he just a target merchant?" I was like, "It's not a terrible argument that they were making that you could just be like, yeah, we know Andrews is good, just take Andrews over McBride." But anyways, this is a really well built team. You 2 elite onesies, good solid hero RB build here in Fuse.
Yeah, for sure. I do think in terms of McBride versus Andrews versus like Pitts, like McBride's a similar case with Kyle Pitts in the sense that you are taking a little bit of a projection, but the upside quite literally is just a younger version of a top 3 potential tight end.
Yeah, no,
Right?
exactly. I mean, McBride is still a good pick. I do think it is an outside possibility.
You have to get him in
Marvin
you have to get him in the
totally
late
dominates
fourth.
the targets there.
Like I think for McBride, some people have him like the early fourth. I would need to get him at like the 4 or 5 turn, knowing that like Pitts and stuff are like comfortably a half to a full round behind.
Yeah, like I can make the argument that like if I
Pitts
like
over
wiped my
McBride.
memory clean and I didn't think of like what Kyle Pitts has been to this point in his
Kyle
career,
Pitts' projection is as good as anybody
he
else.
probably projects better than McBride. It's just that Pitts has this stink on him, so I can't rank him over McBride.
Call this a hot take. I don't care. I think you can make the argument if he didn't have his stink. You can make the argument that Kyle Pitts projects better than fucking Sam Laporta.
Yeah, that is a hot take for sure. But I think it's hard to make that argument when you think about
you
Laporta
take
having,
Laporta
like, the best
because
rookie
he's
season for a tight end ever.
You take Laporta because it's a safer range of outcome because you know what Kyle Pitts has been in terms of battling with the injuries, some like usage problems. Like it's definitely more of a shaky projection, but like we're still drafting him in the 5th because we realize that the ceiling is breaking fantasy football. Like he can go out there and have a 1,200 yard, 12 touchdown season. Like we saw it at Florida.
Oh, he absolutely could. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Had a follow-up question in the chat. Do you want to hunt that down while I get to the next one?
Yeah, sorry. Let me take a look for that. I don't see it here.
Just you look behind his last super chat. I'll get into some more while you're looking for that. Gemini says, what to start PPR? Brendan Rice, I almost said. Rashee Rice, Brandon Ayuk, Devontae Smith, Tank Dell. I do not envy your decision point here, Gemini. I think whether tiebreaker, you taking Rashee Rice out of your lineup for Brandon Ayuk and Devontae Smith, probably.
Ayuk, or sorry, I'm starting Rashee Rice as my number 1 here.
There's no way I would start with weather concerns over Brandon Ayuk and Devontae Smith. I have those guys ranked over him.
He's a short to intermediate threat.
I don't care. They're going to throw less. I literally would start Smith and Ayuk if it was sunny skies right now.
Okay, let's make the bet right now. Rice versus Smith. Actually, we already
have Rashee Rice. You're coping with him right now because you have him in the flock league.
No,
to me,
not even. They have 25 implied points at home, and he's the short to intermediate threat, even if they have weather concerns.
Dude,
like if anything, Worthy
the
is the one
are
that
like
the
probably going to score fucking 35 points
in Brazil.
Tomorrow.
Potentially, we could see. Now, with that being said, I'm still going with Rashee Rice.
That game's a triple threat too. That Packers and Eagles game. It's
great game environment.
Sharps on the over and high over under.
Great game environment. I'm still taking Rashee Rice and Brandon Ayuk here.
No way.
Yes, sir.
Nukes gives us a $4.99. He says Rice or Brian Thomas Jr.
Here, I was actually, you told me to get to this quick.
Go ahead.
Got offered Wilson for Ayuk and Stafford, or Cook for Monty and Stafford. Wait. I mean, I love Brandon Ayuk, but if you're telling me I have to add Stafford to get up to Wilson, I'm doing it. I mean, both.
Yeah, I'm taking Wilson all day there.
Both are steals, but you go for Wilson, but like both are steals.
Yeah,
Can you
add a different piece than Stafford and do both trades?
Yeah, facts. That is crazy. Holy fuck, that guy.
Just pick up Geno Smith off the waiver wires and make both trades.
Hey, man,
that's insane. Yeah, definitely the Ayuk for Wilson one is slightly better, but they're both really good. Nuke had a super
Rashee
as well.
Rice.
Come on,
you can't be hating this much. It's Rashee Rice.
It is Rashee Rice, and don't put him in your flex because it's Thursday night.
Yeah, wide receiver. I mean, he's going to be your wide receiver too anyways, but.
Yes, but public service announcement to those of you guys that are new fantasy players.
Put your Thursday guys in your wide receiver and running back spots.
Exactly. Yeah. If you have Thursday, Friday night games, put those players into your wide receiver and running back spots so your flex is opened up in case you suffer an injury. You have more outs to be able to start potentially a running back or a wide receiver rather than just a wide receiver or just a running back if your guy gets ruled out last minute. Francois says 10-team PPR, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex, I think. Or no, 2 of each. Hurts, Jacobs, Ramondre, Ford, Najee, Chuba, Tyreek, Cup, Nico, Rice, Kirk, Deontay, Christian Watson, Kincaid. I mean, 10-team league. I look at your onesies. You got Hurts and Kincaid. You're in a very good spot there. Running backs are a little weak, obviously, with Jacobs, Ramondre, Ford, and those type of guys. But your receiver core is absolutely loaded, and you have great onesies. So it's a good, like, faded the running back position kind of build for a 10-teamer.
Yeah, I would agree for sure. Ali says, weak at running back, but I'm kind of content. LOL. 10-team PPR. He's got Hurts, ARSB, Marvin Harrison Jr., Drake. Oh my God.
Oh my goodness, dude.
Like your running backs are weak, but your receivers are downright disgusting.
Yeah, those are sickening, dude. I mean, Zamir White, Pollard, Warren, Chase Brown. Like, hopefully you can piece together RB2 production out of those guys. But dude, you have like 4 guys with top 6 upside at receiver.
It's insane. Yeah, great team built there for sure. We are all caught up on supers though, so you can get up to the top.
All right, we are going all the way to the top here. Apologies if you guys have been in the stream. Bobby O, first one in here, has Let's Go. Dylan Stockman also in here. Let's Go New Year. Pick 3 wide receivers: Marvin Harrison Jr., Jalen Waddle, Stephon Diggs, and Rashee Rice. Saw your content on Diggs and Collins, so I'm assuming sit Diggs, but want to verify. Thank you guys. So definitely Harrison and Waddle are in your lineup.
You're sitting Diggs. Don't do it. You're sitting Diggs. Don't do it.
It's close, man. Like, it's close. I'd play Rice, but it is close.
Yeah, that's why you're hating the Rice, you dirty bugger.
Why?
Because you play against them.
With who?
Didn't you just say you play against Rice?
No. I think you're over projecting him.
No.
It's a bad weather environment. Thursday night games are always wonky.
Who's the short to intermediate threat? Yak threat on the
under in this game.
Who's the yak threat on the Chiefs?
What does it matter who the yak threat is?
Because they're still going to throw the football. They're the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, they're going to throw the football. The yak threat, by the way, is KELCE.
Yeah, and Rice.
Yeah. No, I know. Dude, it's a triple threat. The Texans game. There's nobody I want to sit in that game.
It's still a 25-point implied offense.
The Texans are implied for more than that.
24 points. Or no, they're 26.
No, they're implied for more.
Okay, and I'm getting a number 1 threat versus a number 3.
Well, he's not necessarily the number 3 on any given week. He could be the number 1 this week. The Texans wide receivers, the way you have to look at them is it's just like you start.
I'll give you the option. Do you want to bet Amari versus Rashee, or do you want to go with Stephon Diggs versus Rashee?
I'll take Amari if I have a choice because I have Cooper rated higher. But I we've talked about a number of guys. Ayuk, fucking Devontae Smith, Diggs, like all these. Diggs, I would put probably slightly behind Rashee, but there's a lot of guys that you've said I would not put Rashee ahead of. I can't wait till he has like 6 points tonight. It's gonna be funny as hell. Okay, we did get another super. If you want to hit that, I'll be down at the bottom here.
Just I'll read the super, then I'll quickly get off the screen and then come back on. I have to quickly grab something.
Right.
But A says Rice or Pittman full PPR. I love Richardson at quarterback, which makes me lean to Pittman. I mean, I'm going Rashee Rice, but I know Corey's going Pittman, so sorry that doesn't really.
You would start Rashee Rice over Pittman? You are high, dude. I have Pittman.
Rashee Rice is top 20 receiver.
I have Pittman in my top 12. Dude, that game environment, he's the clear number 1. Downs isn't playing, and AD Mitchell's a rookie. There's no way you
at wide receiver 21, so I don't mind him.
You are fucking baked.
Maybe after the stream, not right now though.
You are literally faded if you're starting Rashee Rice over Pittman.
Maybe after the stream I will be, but right now I am perfectly sober.
Okay, well,
let's effing go. Great to have you guys.
Josh's, by the way.
Oh, okay. Where? I didn't even see it.
It's right here. I got it.
Oh, okay. Read it.
12-team PPR, 3 wide receiver, 1 flex. Burrow, Kyron Williams, Alvin Kamara, Tyreek Hill, Mike Evans, Devontae Smith, Evan Ingram, Romo Dunze, Bengals D, and Evan McPherson at kicker. I mean, the running backs I'm not like the biggest fan of, but you probably got decent values on them, I would imagine, given that you like drafted Tyreek and Evans and Smith and those guys. So I think you got a pretty solid build here. Not 100% my favorite like targets like Ingram and Kamara and those guys I wasn't really drafting a whole lot of, but they're fine projections.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I would just advise you if Alvin Kamara has a good game or two at the early portion of the year, make sure you sell high.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be me if I didn't say that.
Yeah, I as disgusting as it sounds, like I've kind of come around on Kamara a little bit. No. He was cheap enough in most of the drafts I was in. Nobody was drafting him until like the 5th, 6th round. I was like, you know what? He's actually kind of okay.
You're going with the first 3, right?
Hill, obviously. Flowers, definitely.
It's Ridley.
Ridley versus Worthy is close.
Yeah. I mean,
And
if
I
you're gonna
actually
be
don't
if
even
you're gonna
think
be
Sutton's
if
weak
you're gonna be
either.
so anti-Rice, you have to say Ridley there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd probably go Ridley.
Fair enough. Here,
Especially in full PPR.
handle it for 1 second. I'll be right back.
Yep. Yeah, I got you. One more question. Who are you starting, London or Neighbors? I'm locked on ARSB and Harrison Jr. That's crazy that you have this decision to make. Like you said, you have a loaded wide receiver core, but London would be my. That's close, man, because Neighbors has the better matchup because London's going to probably see shadow coverage from Joey Porter, but I don't really want to mess with the rookie in his first game if I don't have to. And the Vikings are actually a pretty strong defense, so I'd probably roll with Drake London there, but it's pretty close. Eric says, might as well join the fun. Appreciate all the super chats, by the way, guys. We were trying to get through as many regular questions as we possibly could, but you guys are just piling in the support. We really appreciate it. 10 team, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 3 flex, auction, AR, Brees, Pollard, Warren, Jaleel, Benson, Brooks. So obviously really light at running back behind Brees Hall, but I love the hero RB build. You got a lot of late season upside with the rookies, and Pollard can get you by and Warren can get you by. Pittman, DJ Moore, Higgins, Rashid, Devontae, BTJ, JSN. Huge. This is an awesome team, dude. You did a great job with this one with McBride at tight end. Oh yeah, right. Danny needed to put on his flock helmet here. For those of you guys that don't know, too, he's calling some plays out here. Danny has to be the corniest motherfucker on planet Earth putting this on during the stream.
Shout out to the armband I had when I was the 10-year-old quarterback, baby. Let's go. We back. We ready.
Yeah. For those of you guys that don't know, the helmet that Danny is wearing, turn your head to the side real quick. The helmet that Danny is wearing is for our Flock League. And if you guys haven't checked out the vlog yet, when we were in Texas, we did a draft with Mason and Sal Vetri and the Domain guys and the Land guys. And that was a ton of fun. I got very arrogant on camera and took Garrett Wilson over Justin Jefferson. Danny was generationally yapping on camera. Danny has already made a trade in that league, which we made a video about. We're going to be covering that league all season long, and it's going to be a ton of fun. So that's why Danny has the helmet, and yeah, going to be an awesome time. And tonight I have Travis KELCE and Patrick Mahomes going. So if you want to keep up with that league, I got the stack going tonight, and Danny obviously is coping with his Rashee Rice takes because he has Rashee Rice going tonight.
When Rashee Rice goes off, expect a clip on the next Flock League channel video of me wearing this helmet celebrating.
I can't wait till Michael Pittman has like 30 points and Rashee Rice has 7.
Hey, Michael Pittman can have 30 points all he wants when Rashee Rice has 35.
Yeah, definitely. What do we got here? AT says 12-man half PPR drafted CD Swift, traded for ARSB and HN. How the hell did you do that? You traded CD and Swift for ARSB and HN?
By the way, you can hear me clearly, right?
Yeah. It's pretty solid. I would say it's definitely better when you don't have it on, but it's not like egregious. Josh Allen, ARFB, Collins, ETN. Yeah, dude, your team is fucking mentally ill. You have 2 elite onesies and you have absolutely loaded wide receivers and running backs.
Yeah, that's an ARSB HN steal all day. As much as I love CD Lamb here, you're getting a running back that has RB2 upside versus a running back that has the overall RB1 upside.
Yeah, like what's the difference in points per game between St. Brown and CD Lamb? Like median, high end, and
half PPR,
like it's a 2 point per game at most if you're super high on Lamb. And I could make the argument that St. Brown is pretty much the same range of outcomes.
Yeah, like CD Lamb would legitimately need to have a full season where he scored like down the stretch of last year, where it was, 28 PPR points per game. What's the similarity to that in half PPR? Like 24, 25? Yeah. 24 probably. Yeah. He averaged like 8 catches a game.
Yeah, we could probably roll this till like 8:20 if we need to. The game's delayed till 8:40, but I'm literally starving. I haven't eaten dinner yet, so I'm probably not going to roll this all the way till 8:40 when the game gets actually resumed. Plus, I kind of want to settle in with my food in front of my TV and get ready for this game.
You mentioned me being high earlier. Like after this stream, I definitely got to get in the mood for this game, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, don't worry. It's legal in Canada, so we're good.
Yes. About that.
Well, yeah, don't want to get demonetized.
No, we're good.
What's up, guys? I don't think they would actually do that. Good to be back. Need help with my lineup. Half PPR, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex. Lamb, Cup, Neighbors, Rice, Achan, Gibbs, Ford, Javonte Williams. Okay, so your wide receivers are obviously Lamb and Cup. Your running backs are Achan and Gibbs. Your flex is, if you say that you have fucking Rice over Neighbors, I'm literally leaving the call.
Oopsie.
Where the hell do you have this guy ranked?
I told you I had him at 18, bro.
So
Pre-draft.
you have Michael Pittman and Neighbors outside of your top 18?
Yeah, I mean, one's a rookie. The other one, in terms of Michael Pittman Jr., I have as the wide receiver 24.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Wide
have
receiver
Pittman at wide
24
receiver
for
12.
Pittman.
That's more of a shock. Don't twist this on me. Why is
I don't know.
Michael Pittman Jr. your wide receiver
Danny a
12?
nut job in the chat.
Why is he your wide receiver 12?
Because he's an awesome projection and a great game environment.
Better projection than Cooper Kupp?
Yes.
Hell no. How?
I have I have him at 13, not at 12. But he is a great project. I have Cup at 15 for what it's worth. Like I also think he's great.
Yeah, I just have Michael Pittman in the tier below you do. That's the difference. Like I feel like 19.
But like, what's wrong with him? Like exactly. Why is he lower for you?
He's just not as talented as the other players in that range. That's the answer
I really don't care. He's a clear number one. Downs is out. AD Mitchell's a rookie. And the game environment's like literally a 50-point over-under with a super fast pace of play. And the Sharps are hammering 96% of the money on the over.
It's a great game environment, but I have guys in also good matchups with more talent ranked above them. That's how I view it.
Ranking weekly rankings on talent is that's how you rank.
It's part of it. If they both have good matchups. Oh, cool. I'm ranking Michael Pittman over Jalen Waddle. It's like Jalen Waddle's got the upside.
Jalen Waddle I have at 12, so.
Okay, Deebo Samuel, Devontae Adams.
I mean, Deebo Samuel plays the fucking Jets defense. Like I have him way lower than Pittman.
To be fair, though, I actually moved Brandon Ayuk down because I think he's going to face a shadow from Sauce.
Yeah, it's not projected that he's going to at the moment. I have Ayuk and Deebo at 17 and 18 respectively, but I have Pittman at 13. Like I said, I would start Pittman over both of them.
Deebo and Ayuk are 17 and 19 for me. Rashee Rice is the one sandwich between them. And then I have DJ Moore at 20, DK at 21, Malik 22, Devontae 23, Pittman 24.
Yeah, like I have Rashee Rice at 24 right now.
Yeah, so I have him at the top of the tier. You have him at the bottom of it. Is the difference that I'm gathering here.
Yeah, like I have like Moore, Metcalf, Cooper, Smith, Neighbors, Olave, and then the Niners receivers, London, Kupp, Harrison, and Pittman over him.
Yeah, that's the difference for us.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, we got a super chat here from Ishmael. Ishmael says 12-team PPR, 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 1 flex. Kyler Murray, Deebo Samuel, Jalen Waddle, Breece Hall, Zamir White, Kyle Pitts, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. Tyson Chandler. That's
Ty Chandler.
I know. I just was making a joke. That's the former center for the Los Angeles Lakers. Big shout out.
Oh, right.
J.K. Dobbins, Ladd McConkey, Darnell Mooney, Jalen Polk, Jaden Reed. Yeah, this is like a really strong team. Like Jaden Reed just quietly sneaking in as the second last listed name is pretty hilarious.
Yeah. No kidding. Murray, yeah. I mean, you're strong in every position. Like I've said this 48 times this stream. You're strong at every other position aside from RB2, and you have like upside there. Like Zamir White's a solid 12-point per game projection for the time being, and Dobbins, Tracy, and like some of the Ty Chandler, some of those guys have upside to be better than him.
For sure. We are all caught up on supers. You can get back to the top of the chat. What are we going to go to? You said like 820?
Yeah, let's go to 820. I just want to make some. I'm making some enchiladas tonight. I'm fucking absolutely marved right now.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait, Levitan apparently tweeted this out. So you know how DeAndre Hopkins had a knee injury in the offseason?
Yeah.
Apparently it turned out he had an MCL tear and didn't get surgery on it.
Yeah, so, good thing I drafted absolutely no DeAndre Hopkins.
Good thing I just drafted him in our listener league. Fuck.
I told you the league I was invited to with some of the guys I went to high school with. He almost fell to me in like the 11th round.
Yeah, that's kind of nuts.
Which I don't really like him, but in the 11th round I was willing to take him. I'm glad I didn't because he's already hurt. Like why would I find injuries at this point in the offseason with a guy who's old as shit and can't recover from injuries?
For sure.
Anyways, Bobby says, do I start Worthy or Odunze? I'd be starting Worthy tonight. Waddle or Rice? I mean,
this is Waddle. I'm not this far gone. I'm not that far gone.
Okay. To me, there's no difference between this projection and Pittman's, but whatever. Tajay or Chase Brown?
Chase Brown.
Yeah, that's close. I honestly like. I think Pollard will probably have a bigger workload than Tajay to
6
start
point
the
home
season. So I'd
favorites.
probably go with just the upside that Chase Brown dominates the backfield early on. I think both backfields will probably be 50-50 splits, and the Spears game environment is actually better. So I could
It
make the
is.
argument for Spears, and if it was full PPR too, I could make the argument for Spears. But
In terms of game script too, though, you're getting 6 point home favorites there with Cincinnati Bengals. Like if Chase Brown is
dude,
the
the
guy getting the
Bears
majority of
are
carries.
implied for like 25 points against the Titans. They're like 7-point favorites.
They're actually that big of a favorites right
Yeah.
now. Fair
They're
enough.
huge favorites. Let me double check that to make sure I'm not talking out my ass here. But they're 4.5-point favorites, but
Okay.
they are like the Bears are implied for 25 points. So there's a good
No, I
chance
knew they were
that
implied for a ton
Titans
of
are gonna
points. I
have to
knew
take
the
them
overall
away.
matchup. I'm just talking about in terms of game script as well.
Yeah. I mean, the game environment though in the Bengals and
Fair.
Patriots game, I just don't think will be very good. Like it'll be kind of a slow, like both offenses are pretty slow pace of play offenses.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yes, sir. The boys are back. What's good? Waddle over Rice. Yeah, we already mentioned that one. That is Waddle for us. I think Juan may have super chatted this. I can't remember. There's been so many fucking super chats at this point.
Shout out the
Danny's
hairline, by the way.
dying now. Yeah, I mean that looks like a great roster. The rate my teams, I'm not gonna lie, are hard to do while we're on stream, but I don't see any major holes there. You got good one. I mainly just look at like the onesies and like what your RB and wide receiver situations are like pretty like holistically, and I think you're in a good spot there. Smitty or Ayuk, that's a close one for me. Which one do you lean in that? Oh, your mic's not plugged in. Okay, so Ayuk would be my selection there of those two options.
Chase Brown, but both those running backs aren't that good. Damn.
True.
Yeah. Okay. I gotta show this. Bro actually has a fair forehead. Never seen that before. I wanted to give the sneak peek because there are people that think that I have like a non-existent hairline, which is funny to me because I'm just the natural hairy Italian. Like,
I mean, to be fair, like if you didn't have a great hairline, wearing a bandana would be a good cover up
for sure. That's fair.
But that's probably why people thought you were that you were doing that. Also, shout out to Michael. He said just joining the stream, and of course, Danny's wearing his Flock League. Chat football is back. Yeah, dude, you guys are not ready for the content. That's
it's gonna be so much fun.
Like, Mason has an editor dedicated to that entire channel. Like we're gonna make that a ton of fun. Like it is gonna be a sweet channel. We're all just gonna be recording clips for it every single week and hopping on podcasts and stuff together during Monday Night Football every single week. Like it is going to be a lot of fun. And I'm hoping we get some crazy shit happening. Like, you know, the trade that Danny made with Mason, there's like a clear winner and a clear loser, like that kind of thing. And vice versa. Like some of the takes that we made during the draft, like I hope Garrett Wilson's like the wide receiver 1 overall, or, you know, Justin Jefferson's like way better.
I got real cocky in the draft. I got real cocky. And spoiler alert, I mean, Corey's alluded to it, but I did indeed end up selecting Rashid Rice in that league. So, I mean, take it.
Also, did you see my? I needed to vent today, so I put out a thread of the biggest sand eater narratives that I've seen this offseason and some of the stupidest ones that I saw as well.
What was the one you sent earlier today in the chat?
Yeah, so this was the thread I put out. I was like the dumbest narratives in fantasy. David Njoku was only good because of Joe Flacco and Deshaun Watson is a downgrade. Like Joe Flacco's 39 and hasn't started for an NFL team in like 4 years. So I don't know what the hell that narrative was about, but David Njoku was good because David Njoku is good. Saquon Barkley will be useless on the goal line because of the tush push. Stupid ass narrative. We all know why he was the tush push king is because DeAndre Swift sucks on the goal line. 2 NFL teams have told us that. Number 3, Devon Achane is overvalued and will get hurt, but Raheem Mostert is somehow not going to get hurt and a great value. And Raheem Mostert has 14 documented injuries over the last 7 years, and Devon Achane has 3, including his college career. Nico Collins and Brandon Ayuk, you'll love this one, Danny. They can't be elite because the target competition, but it's just like close your eyes and draft elite players on elite offenses.
Yeah, I mean, Nico Collins and Brandon Ayuk have legitimate cases to be top 5 overall talents in the NFL after the season. I understand that's a projection right now, specifically for Nico. Brandon Ayuk, I think people understand is a top 5 to 8 talent at this current point, but there's like a real possibility from an efficiency standpoint on elite offenses. Both are considered in that top 5 range after the season. I have no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I put Drake London and Kyle Pitts will suck because they haven't done it yet. It's like, dude, they had like literally the worst quarterback play in the league, and also Arthur Smith. Rookies like Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors, Romo Dunze, Worthy, McConkey, those guys, they're going too high. They haven't proven it yet. I heard a lot of people say stuff like that, specifically about Marvin and Neighbors. And it's like they were elite prospects, like they should be going this high. And then this one was a hot take on my part. Can't take Garrett Wilson over Justin Jefferson because Justin Jefferson's one of the best receivers in the NFL. And my opinion is that he projects better, so I'm doing it.
For sure. I understand it. I don't agree, but I understand it.
Yeah.
We do have a super chat here as well from Corey Van. He did actually make a trade in the Dynasty League. We're both in the Latzer League Patreon League. So I'll show you guys the trade. Again, I did tell Corey on the side, I'm not going to lie, I am not the biggest fan of his side of the deal, but he does ask for us to show it. So I will quickly let them see. So as you guys can see on the screen right now, if I can find it real quick, it was made. Where is it? All right. Sorry, a little journey here, but we are good now. Can you see it here? He ended up trading away. So he ended up trading away Brock Bowers, Deshaun Watson, and Baker Mayfield to Marco. He ended up receiving Chuba Hubbard, Pat Freiermuth, Bryce Young, Josh Downs in 3 seconds. So he ended up. So basically, the way he acquired Brock Bowers is he basically traded Brandon Ayuk straight up for him. So yeah, I talked to him on the side. I'm not gonna lie, Corey. You hear me? I'm gonna be honest with you. I love Marco's side here. I gotta be straight.
Yeah. So he sold Bowers.
Sold Bowers, Watson, and
Bowers,
Mayfield.
Watson, and Baker for Bryce Young, Downs. Yeah, like I'm gonna be sure. I'm gonna be more brutally honest than Danny. I think you got bent over the table in this one, to be honest. Like I just you gave up the best asset in the deal, which was Brock Bowers. You also gave up 2 quarterback equity pieces here, which, say what you want about Watson and Mayfield, but they have big contracts. There's a chance they're going to be relevant for a while. And you didn't really get any needle moving assets. Like Bryce Young definitely could help you win this trade. If Bryce Young becomes a franchise quarterback, he will definitely be the most valuable guy in this trade. I just think you inherited a lot of risk with that. And I love Josh Downs, and I'm kind of been notoriously a Pat Freiermuth guy, and I like the 3 seconds of insulation there. I just I kind of just want the Bowers, Watson, and Mayfield side. But again, it's not out. I said you got bent.
Best ball league too.
Little hyperbolic. I think it's just I don't personally like your side of the trade.
Best ball league too, and then who knows? Maybe a couple of those twos end up developing into a really good player in a best ball format. It could end up paying off for you. But again, we were talking about it today. He's I guess a little bit more concerned about Bowers at this point. But I will say, knowing how much you did pay for him in the startup, knowing you basically gave up Brandon Ayuk for him, I absolutely would have wanted to see him at least play a game before I sold him, even if I was feeling low on him.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. We got another one here from Nathan. Love your channel. 10-man PPR grade. Please Stroud, Caleb Williams, Christian McCaffrey, James Cook, David Montgomery, J.K. Dobbins, Chris Olave, Cooper Kupp, DJ Moore, Malik Neighbors, DeAndre Hopkins, and Kyle Pitts. I mean, like, it depends. Obviously, if Caleb Williams went like super late and you wanted to grab him in like the last round, that's fine. But knowing that you did have CJ Stroud, I personally wouldn't have prioritized the backup quarterback. However, I mean, looking at the rest of the roster, not the biggest fan in terms of where you probably had to take Montgomery. But aside from that, I like the team. It's just the Montgomery and the Caleb.
Yeah, Caleb. Yeah, there's no need to really roster Caleb, like you said. But I mean, the rest of the players, there's some, hit or miss projections in there that I'm not a huge fan of, like Montgomery and, Olave sometimes can be a little bit overvalued. But generally speaking, I think you're probably in a pretty good spot. I did drop the Flock League YouTube channel link in the live chat if you guys want to check that out. Like I said, we're going to be making content around it the entire year.
We may as well have a little precursor in it. So just ask what Fantasyland would take on your trade in the Flock League, and they didn't catch on until they answered. So if you guys want more information on what exactly that deal was, we actually mentioned it offhandedly in the Do This Now video on the channel.
I feel like you've mentioned it in like 4 different videos now.
Yeah. So, but if you want to watch the full breakdown, the full emotions, some of the trash talk, my perspective, Nathan's perspective, ultimately, when I was on his stream and we were actually talking about the deal potentially in the works, like all that is included. And I will say, we did play our characters quite well. I will add, it was fun.
Yeah. We're talking about the same deal you made with Mason, right?
Yeah. The Flock League deal.
Oh, okay. For a second, you said Nathan's perspective, I thought. Oh, did you
No,
say
no,
Mason's
Mason's.
perspective?
Mason's.
Oh, I
Sorry,
thought
I
you said
probably
Mason's
stumbled my
perspective.
words.
I'm like, did you make a trade with
No,
Nathan that
no,
I'm
no,
not aware
no,
of?
no, no, no. Mason's
Also,
perspective. So,
Nathan and Avery's part of roasting your trade was easily the funniest part of
oh,
that.
that was jokes. I liked Zach's just like, oh, look where you drafted him, and look where he drafted him.
Yeah, that
It's
was
like
funny.
that's
I
what.
was the only one that was like, watch this just work out for Danny somehow. Like I was the only one with that attitude. Everyone else was just like, Danny got screwed. Danny got screwed. And I was just
Well,
like, I just see this working out. And it would
sneak peek behind the scenes. Everybody's talking about, oh wow, how valuable an asset fucking Ramondre Stevenson is, and Mason's been trying to sell him for a week, and nobody has fucking even taken a bite. Nobody.
Yeah, no, he's
So
brutal. This is a good one. Abraham, who's finding the end zone tonight, boys? I think
Derrick
Derrick
Henry.
Henry's probably the
Yeah,
lock of the century
I play
for a
against them in
touchdown
that league,
tonight.
and I expect it.
Yeah, I mean,
Happens.
Pacheco versus
Rasheed Rice.
I think Pacheco might be the slappy bet for people thinking that he's going to score. I think it's probably a lock that Derrick Henry scores tonight. And if I'm looking for a nice like anytime touchdown guy, I think that Worthy could score tonight as well on like a big play.
Yeah, no, I could definitely see that. I mean, I put my word in for Rasheed Rice, knowing that again, if it is a weather affected game today, I can see the short to intermediate threat. But I know one of KELCE versus Rasheed is going to score. I don't know which one is kind of where I'm at. I think one of them is for sure a lock to get in. I don't know which one though.
Yeah, and I mentioned some of the things here. We got a couple minutes left on this profit boost. You get a 30% profit boost on your entry. You get vulture protection too, which is basically like if you do Derrick Henry higher than touchdown and Lamar Jackson QB sneaks it or something, then you would actually get your entry back there. And we will be dropping PICKEM TikToks and shorts all season long. So you guys are going to be able to track that. And, you know, we're going to do a little side quest, a little side bet probably on the two of us who has a better ROI on our PICKEM TikToks all season long. We're going to basically just be doing 3 and 2 PICKEM TikToks because they are more profitable according to Odds Jam. They are the most profitable ones that you can play on Underdog. So definitely going to be a lot of fun. We should probably sign off here. It's 8:24.
Well, last
I'm
thing
in
I will
17
say,
fantasy leagues. I need to see my lineups and make sure that everything's set.
last thing I'm going to say is you're going to like this, but none other than Antonio Brown himself expects Xavier Worthy to go off. Tonight, Xavier is worthy. Kids going to the theaters. There you go.
Dude, Xavier he's a dog, man. Hook him.
He may not have many brain cells left, but the ones he has, he can determine who's a good receiver. Eh?
Yeah. One last plug before we get out of here. The weekly rankings manifesto. Those of you guys that want to know what it's all about, this is all the Vegas information you get access to. You get the DVOA differences, you get the advantages, you get the fastest paced games, you get the over-unders, the implied point totals, all that kind of stuff. And as we go throughout the season, you guys can see we have weighted average production for pass defense DVOA. We have the fantasy points allowed to quarterbacks. And then you get all of our week 1 rankings, and we'll update those every single week. So again, if you do want access to our weekly rankings, it's extremely accessible. Just go over to flockfantasy.com. Like I said, doing a great new redesign of the site. Promo code FSE over there. And also people who have signed up with Underdog Fantasy, promo code FSE, should have access to it now. I sent out an email blast yesterday and today. For those of you guys that need access to the weekly rankings manifesto, I did send that out to you. And if you want access to it and you want to play some Underdog tonight, use that code FSE. And of course, take advantage of that final last minute free pick'em on Travis Kelce, half a total yard. Deposit match back up to 1,000. And again, shout out to, SS32BA. He is the winner of the 2 tickets. Or she is the winner. I don't know, have any idea who.
If you're watching
this,
by the way, comment on the live stream. If you're watching,
if you are in here, SS32BA, if you are in here, definitely comment on the live stream. We're going to reach out to you via email, and we did roll a provisional or 2 in case they never answer us. But definitely shout out to them. We're going to be buying them 2 tickets to go see their favorite team. And again, the week 1 promo calendar for Underdog Fantasy should be a ton of fun. Last minute look, Zay Flowers, higher 52.5 receiving yards tonight. Derrick Henry getting into the end zone, lower than rushing receiving yards, 77.5 for Pacheco. And then Danny's got the KELCE free square in his. Rasheed Rice, of course, he's been glazing all night, 61.5 receiving yards, and then lower 27.5 rushing and receiving for Justice Hill tonight. So should be an interesting one. Excited to see some real football going on tonight. It is going to be a ton of fun, and I can't close this right now. It's not letting me take it off the screen.
Yeah, we're having
We
a
got
good
one
one.
more super, and then we're gonna get out of
Let's
here.
get it. Let's go. Love the
All right.
channel. It helps. Drafted Dak, CMC, Pacheco, Debo, Tank, Aaron Jones, Jake Ferguson, Kaimi Fairbairn, Ravens D with the stack bench, 12-man PPR. I mean, overall, looks like a very strong team. Does unfortunately suck that you have the Ravens tonight in what should be. I mean, who knows? Maybe it doesn't suck because obviously, of course, there is weather. Maybe it's a slower scoring game, but
I'm
I will
calling. It's going to
say
be a slugfest tonight. It's Thursday night kickoff. It always is a slugfest.
I am terrified anytime I have to go against Patrick Mahomes with the defense
Fair
that's
enough.
opposing him in week 1.
Didn't he lead the league in interceptions last year?
What, Mahomes?
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably up there, but we both predicted all year that he's gonna bounce back.
No, of course. I know, but he's not prone to turn. He's definitely not prone to turning the ball over anyways. Let's get out of here. Again, like the stream if you enjoyed, subscribe, all that good stuff. Wide receiver tier list tomorrow, running back tier list on Saturday. Stay tuned for the shorts and TikToks for Friday night game. We're not going to be live tomorrow. I don't know. We didn't actually talk about this yet, Danny, but I'm actually busy tomorrow night, so I won't be able to be live for that game. But we will be live Sunday morning, so make sure you guys stick around for that. But with that being said, enjoy the game. Hopefully we get some fantasy points. Peace out, and we'll talk to you soon.